Hey folks, welcome back to the Space Cadet podcast, a Houston Astros podcast. I am Paul Salazar Jr. You can find me on social media at Paul Salazar Jr. on almost all social media platforms. I, unlike the Astros, am stumbling out of the gate here. I am here in studio in Los Angeles with Carla, the dog, my co-host. She is not happy. Yeah, she is not feeling well, folks. It was a tough game. If you did not like yesterday's game, Astros fans, you did not like tonight's game. That's for sure. But you know what? Before we get too far ahead of ourselves, I definitely was struggling after that game. It's not necessarily a national game, but it is nationally available here on Apple. So that's kind of tough. Not necessarily a national game, but kinda. And you want your team to show up a little bit better than what it was tonight. I took some time to breathe. I was pretty frustrated, and then I just kind of fresh start. Like put on some new clothes. I gave myself a treat. I have a cookie podcast. I sat down and I ate a cookie and I did that podcast. I recorded that to kind of get the bad vibes out, because I try to be a positive guy, and it was not a very positive looking game for the Astros. Definitely not as an Astros fan. They fell to the Yankees tonight at home 7-1. So the home woes continue from last season. I really think it's an anomaly. I don't think anything's haunted or it's a psychological thing, but man, what a weird thing is happening with that. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong there. Maybe we'll find out Minute Maid Park is haunted. Maybe that's it. But yeah, I'm not always going to be able to do a game recap after each and every game, but I wanted to kind of start out of the gate strong here with the podcast, give you guys something to listen to as the season's opening up. Last episode I started with the pitching, so we'll start with the offense this time, mostly because it won't take me too long. On Substack, on my notes there, I put three big questions, the Astros have to answer to win this game. And one of them was Javier versus Rondon, who will bounce back better. The Astros offensive stars, will they knock in some runs this game? And, who will get to the bullpen first, the Astros or the Yankees? And on the offensive side, it's hard to really look at the stat lines because not too many people, there were only 7 hits in the game. However, the team left was 1 for 12 with runners in scoring position, and left 11 on base. So it seems when you look at that, it's like we really could have done something with kind of an anemic amount of hits, because we still got some walks. We still were able to get people on base. We just weren't really able to knock them in. So it was really about timely hits this game. And the season's still young. There's going to be a lot of reactionary takes out there. I like to obviously I didn't just jump on the mic. I like to kind of be a cool glass of water on hot takes sometimes. If you're looking for an angry podcast, I don't think this is going to be it for you. This is going to be a little bit more reasonable, a little bit more silly. I am going to be frustrated. Don't get me wrong. There's definitely things to be frustrated about. But at the end of the day, this is a game we get to watch and enjoy. And this is a team that has been fantastic. So, we don't want to be like Yankees fans here. We don't want to boo people. We don't want to get angry at people and kind of run them out of town. That kind of Maldonado energy from last season. We don't want that. We don't want to become that kind of a fan base. So let's just remember this is early on in the season. Let's not get too angry too early. But it definitely was a frustrating game. Some positives. It does look like Joe Espada and the Astros are going to be better on the base pads this year. There was a double steal, which was good. Espada said that they were, kind of returning to the basics during spring training. They wanted to do better on the base pads. So that's a positive. Honestly, like I was saying earlier, individually, it doesn't seem like there was a lot of good stat lines. Tucker was 2 for 5 with kind of, I guess, was the best stat line. I would get Tuve was 2 for 5, I guess, as well. Yeah, but it just wasn't a great looking game on paper. Watching the game, it seems like the Yankees were doing what we expect from the Astros. The Yankees were being patient. The Yankees were not expanding their zone, and the Yankees were getting great at bats because of that. Christian Javier pitched a great game for the Astros, but the Yankees ended up winning because overall, whether it was Javier or whether it was our bullpen, they were patient. They didn't expand the zone, and they got good at bats overall. That's what baseball is about. It's about consistency. And the Astros, maybe they've heard that they have a great offense and they're looking for some big hits, and their eyes, they kind of expanded the zone a bit last game and this game. So you're really kind of looking, and Espada did mention that, I believe, in the press conference, I believe, yes, after opening day. So, they are looking to kind of be a little bit more selective with their pitches, and that's going to help their offense enormously. But yeah, back to Javier. I think he really did look good. Framber was looking a little rough, had some bad calls against him, but Christian Javier looks like he's in good form in the beginning of the season. He pitched 6 innings with only 4 hits, 6 strikeouts, and a walk. But just like I was complaining about after the opening game, the middle relief, once again, was a huge issue for the Houston Astros tonight. Taylor Scott came in the 7th inning, and he doesn't look like he has bad stuff, but he definitely was kind of nipping at the edges. He had some calls, some calls honestly did go for him, but a lot of calls did go against him too. But you can't rely on the umpires. There's no excuse. You can't just be like, oh yeah, the umpires. It's not a good look. So it's tough to see a young pitcher really struggle to have excellent command of the zone, but he was struggling with this command. He ended up walking 2 batters. He gave up a hit. He ended up giving up 2 runs, and 2 of them earned. He couldn't get out of the inning. He lost the game and technically blew the save there. So it's a tough beginning to Astros career for Taylor Scott. I'm not sure if the Astros were looking for him to be a long-term solution in the middle relief, but either, whether they were or not, we're hoping that Taylor can turn some things around to just keep pitching at a level that I'm sure he really wants to. But it's looking tough. They then brought Rafael Montero in, who walked a batter and gave up that one of those runs for Taylor Scott. But he didn't give up any other runs and got out. So we're hoping that that's something that Montero can build on. But eye test wise, he just still makes me nervous. Then the Astros brought in Parker Mashinsky, who really, when I thought Taylor Scott struggled, Mashinsky really struggled. He he wasn't pitching all too terribly. It really was looking like maybe he had the stuff to get out of the inning, but just defensive problems, which don't normally plague the Astros, really plague the Astros tonight. We had Jeremy Pena bobbled toss to Jose Altuve, and which would have been an inning-ending double play, and kind of just sailed wide of Altuve, and Altuve couldn't get it. Not that he should have. If he would have got it, he would have left the bag. But it sailed past Altuve, and that error was charged to Jeremy Pena. And then Parker Mashinsky himself committed an error, throwing to first base off of a bunt. And yeah, that inning was rough. That they gave Parker Mashinsky gave up 4 runs. They had to get Bialek. Sorry, yeah, Bialek, I think. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that name. I believe that's it. He had to come in to kind of mop with a mop and kind of mop up the mess. But he gave up a home run to himself. So it definitely wasn't a game much of the bullpen is going to want to remember. We have Brian Abreu coming back. His 2-game suspension is over, but we definitely could use him because these middle relievers are starting to struggle, and you're starting to see why we're gonna miss Phil Maton, Ryan Stanek, and Hector Neris this season. Just having a good bullpen is tough, and sometimes sometimes you let people go and try to figure out what I think the addition of Josh Hader is really smart, and that's going to end up looking really good for the Astros. But early on in this season here, looking for middle relief is tough for the Astros. But we kind of knew that going into the season that was going to be kind of one of the weaker spots. We were hoping to have more healthy starting pitching out the gate. If we had our starters healthy, that would be great. At one point the Apple TV put up a little screenshot of the injured Astros pitchers, and it put 4 injured pitchers up there. So if we had those guys healthy, that would mean that 4 of the guys in our 6-man rotation could be in middle relief. And that would really mean that this game, if somebody got in trouble, you'd be seeing J.P. France or Hunter Brown, which would probably be preferable to some of the guys we had pitching tonight. And that's, I'm not trying to be cruel or mean, but just they are a little bit better in my eye. So if people were healthier, we wouldn't have to rely so much on this middle relief this early in the season. But that's where it is, and hopefully people can get healthy, and hopefully these middle relievers can take these situations and learn from them and grow from them. And this is just a speed bump on the way to success, and these guys could really contribute later on in the season, or they can really contribute later on in April when they're called upon and when they're needed here. So let's just try to have a little bit of optimism there. But it's definitely we're helping people get healthy soon, or we might need to find other answers in the middle relief. But yeah, we're definitely looking forward here, folks. I think, but the Astros are a slow starting team, and I think these are just some of those bumps. We're looking to kind of get more consistent at bats here. I think out of Jose Abreu for sure is where that we need to get some of these guys knocked in. Last season, I was constantly complaining about the amount of runners that the team left on base, and I think this is going to be something that we're going to have to just improve on this season, because it used to be that we were the top dogs in the division, And now there's teams that are really coming for us. There's some great teams in the division, so we can't just take it easy and figure out our team and just expect to win the division anymore. So, hopefully the Astros can figure out some solutions to these problems sooner than later. Joe Espada is a really smart guy. There's a lot of smart minds in the Astros organization. They have been this good for so long because they are so smart. So I'm not hitting the panic button yet, and I don't think people need to worry too much. I know it sucks for the Yankees fans to come into Minute Maid Park and be so loud and obnoxious, I definitely saw some videos, and I know some people that were telling tale of some obnoxious Yankees fans. And you know what? It's just 2 games in the regular season. Every game counts, but if they want to be this excited over these 2 games, I guess just let them. Let them plan their parade route for these 2 games. We've had a lot of success as a team here. As Astros fans, we've got to be able to celebrate in the warmth of that success, and there's been a lot of it to go around. And the Yankees, sadly, have not had that much to celebrate. So, they're kind of wilding out here and acting out of pocket because they're not used to being here and being successful. So just give them a pass. Sometimes Yankees fans that I know, they just like to talk mess. So if they're talking mess, maybe you talk a little mess with them if it's of joking nature, obviously. You don't want to start fights. I'm not saying we should be starting fights, But sometimes it's just a little smack talk, and that's okay too. But, let the Yankees let them enjoy this parade that they're throwing for this series in the beginning of the season. Either way, the Astros are really good at putting errors and mistakes and games like this in the rearview mirror and moving forward and getting back to the basics and getting consistent again. So that's what I suggest you do here as an Astros fan. Don't panic. Put this game in the rearview. Remember the successes of this team and remember what got us here and move forward and just be consistent and do the things that make you happy. All right, folks, that's going to be it tonight for the Space Cadet podcast. Thanks so much for listening. I've been your host, Paul Salazar Jr. You can follow me at Paul Salazar Jr. on almost all social media platforms. Find us at spacecadet.substack.com. And just subscribe, like, and review. If you like this, give me a nice review. Share it with somebody you like. Share it with an Astros fan. Let's build a community. I hope y'all have a great day, and vamos Astros.